श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषविपुरोगिणां विधेयविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नमो धर्माय महते नमः कृष्णाय वेदसे ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमस्कृत्य धर्मान् वक्ष्यामि शाश्वताम्। नमो भगवते तस्मै व्यासाय मदतेश्वरे यस्य प्रसादात् वक्ष्यामि नारायणकथामिमाम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. So last time we were looking in the Drona Parva. As the night extended, Arjuna advises, asks all his soldiers to put on their weapons and take rest, saying that Kurus also stop. And then towards the end of that night, as the moon rises, soldiers once again prepare to battle. But at that time again, sun also rises and they complete their Sandhya Vandana and then prepare for the battle. And as they were heading, Dhrishtadyumna takes a oath that day either he will kill Drona, if he fails to kill Drona, or if Drona defeats him in that battle, then all his merits, whether it is done through as a Kshatriya or as through his religious merit and anything he has done good, all those merits, let that be disappear. So like this, he takes a oath, and then with that he rushes towards Drona. So we'll look at what happens after that today. So when he takes the oath like that and he attacks Drona from one side, and Arjuna starts attacking Drona from other side. Duryodhana, Karna, Shakuni, and with surviving brothers of Duryodhana, all of them try to protect Drona from in that battle. Drona protected by them. The Panchalas still struggling vigorously. They could not look at him. Drona was battling like that. Then Bhima became very angry. He goes to Dhrishtadyumna and tells him angrily that what man is there who, being regarded as a Kshatriya and taking birth in the race like of those of Panchala and being a son of Drupada, being the greatest person, possessing all the weapons and things like that, who could not even charge against the enemy standing in front of him. And what man is there who is seeing his father killed? Drupada was killed, if you remember last time, right? So seeing his father killed and also his sons killed by the enemy, still stands indifferent in this battle, without, as if he's not interested in the battle. He stands here with watching this battle takes place. So there is Drona. He is like a fire destroying the entire troops here, all the Kshatriyas that assemble on this side. Soon he will destroy this Pandava army. So you stand here like a spectator, but look at what I'm going to achieve. I will go towards Drona. And saying this, Bhima rushes towards Drona and he attacking that Drona's array that was formed, Vyuha that Drona has formed. So then Dhrishtadyumna as well, he rushes towards with a large troops, he rushes towards Drona in that battle. And then as they were entering, the sun started rising, and finally sun rose, and everything became bright, and people started fighting again. So like this, the battle of the 15th day started, and as Surya came about, as we looked at last time, everyone offered their morning prayers, Sandhya Vandana, and things like that. The horsemen engaged with chariot riders, elephants with horsemen, and foot soldiers with elephant riders, horsemen with horsemen. Like this, the battle was taking place, sometimes unitedly, sometimes separately. The warriors fell upon one another in that battlefield. So they fought vigorously in that night. Many, tired with exertion, weak, hunger, and thirst, became again deprived of their senses. They continued to battle Loud uproar of the conchs, drums, and elephants, and twang of the bow, stretched bows drawn to the ears by those warriors, all those made, and with very those noise was terrible noise was heard from them, and shouting of and the rolling of the chariot wheels make tremendous noise. So like this, every minute, that noise, the groans, the wails of pain, the people falling, the foot soldiers, chariot riders, elephants, all of them became loud and that became very pitiable. Sanjay describes that war as terrible battle that was taking place in that. Once again, he describes that battlefield where the heroic, those combatant crossed a river there that ran towards the course of regions of like Yama's place. It went towards Yama's place. The blood of the elephants and the horses and the human beings' blood became the current of that river. Weapons formed, the fish in that river, and the it was miry with blood and flesh, and the wails and of the griefs and pains formed its roar. The vain pain of those soldiers, the banners, cloths formed its froth, and again with shafts and darts worn with exertion. Those again, all those things formed in that, stood in that, motionless in that river, formed in that. So, like this, the battle continued. Drona and Arjuna both destroying the enemy troops on that side, and neither of them great carnage was taking place, and neither of them could finish off the job. But Drona was very close, and he was going like that. Neither Kauravas nor Panchalas nor Pandavas, they could not be distinguished in that battlefield. It was covered with dust coming from every direction. Duryodhana, Karna, Drona, Dushasana, these four warriors engaged in battle with four of the Pandavas. Duryodhana and his brothers again encountered in that battlefield Nakula and Sahadeva. So Karna was engaged with Bhima. Arjuna was with Drona. So like this, the battle was taking place in various places with various warriors. So the encounter between Duryodhana, who was filled with anger and desiring the revenge, he was attacking Nakula in the battlefield. So Nakula, cheerfully shooting hundreds of arrows, he placed Duryodhana on his right side. Like this, the battle takes place between them. Those cousin brothers, filled with anger, they were fighting and counteracting Nakula from every side. Duryodhana was battling. Then Nakula, with great energy, and he's aware of all the diverse forms of in which chariot may be moved and conducted, he began to resist Duryodhana, counteracting him from the right side. Duryodhana, however, he afflicting Nakula with large number of arrows, he caused him to turn back. But then again, the troops on the Kaurava side became very happy seeing Nakula turn back, and they applauded Duryodhana's achievement in that. But then Nakula, recollecting all the trouble, and they had to go through all the pain they had to go through. He said, "Wait, wait," and returned again, started having battle again with Duryodhana. Dushasana was battling with Sahadeva, and again, great battle takes place between them. Sahadeva in that battle quickly cut off the head of the charioteer of Dushasana, and with that, Dushasana's horses started running wild, and Dushasana then took hold of those reins of those horses, and then he was very confident with management of the horses, and Dushasana himself restraining those horses. He fought with Sahadeva in that battle. So again, imagine you have to hold the horse reins, but also he has to hold the bow and arrow. So he was holding the horse reins once, and then controlling the horses, and then keeping that side, and then taking the bow and shooting the arrow towards Sahadeva, and then taking the control of horses again. So like this, he was switching between the two jobs he was doing, and all along while resisting Sahadeva and trying to hurt Sahadeva. So Sahadeva quickly pierces at that time. The horses were swelled with sharp arrows, and afflicted with that, they quickly run away. So like this, Sahadeva achieves uh, victory over Dushasana in that battle. Karna, meanwhile, he was fighting with Bhima, and Bhima in that battle with great care, he pierces Karna in the chest arm with three broad-headed arrows, and Karna again uh, stopped and began to resist Bhima with his own arrows in return. So, like the battle takes place between them, then with all the weapons, and then they started fighting with maces. They started. Bhima broke all his, with his mace the Karna's chariot. He breaks Karna's chariot with his mace, and then Bhima again uh, uh, then Bhima hurls one more mace at Karna. Karna, on the other hand, at that time, he uses a series of arrows, one after another, and returns that mace back towards Bhima. And that rebound of that mace hits back so hard that it broke standard of Bhima's chariot, and then that standard broke down and fell on the ground. So seeing his at the same time with the same mace, Bhima's charioteer was also stuck and he was deprived of his senses. And Bhima was mad and he started releasing arrows towards Karna and he cuts off his bow and his leathern fence. Then Bhima again, with greatest care, he cuts off many arrows that's coming from Karna, but he again cuts off the standard bow and leathern fence of Karna, and the Karna at that time takes up another bow, very strong bow, and then he attacks Bhima. So he kills Bhima's horses, then he kills his two passionate charioteers as well, and then when Bhima is like that, he quickly jumps down from that and then jumps onto Nakula's chariot. Meanwhile, Drona and Arjuna, they were battling, the Guru and Shishya, they were battling in that battlefield. They were uh, doing all sort of, which was great battle was taking place between those two. All the other warriors abstained from fighting and started watching these two fight each other out. The warriors assembled there, they saw the prowess and they became filled with wonder between Drona and Arjuna that looks like a battle between hawks for a piece of meat. Whatever that Drona, great achievements Drona performed in that, the Arjuna had countered for that all those things, and he was performing similar feats in that battlefield. Drona failed to gain any ascendancy over Arjuna, and similarly Arjuna as well. On the other hand, could not do anything more to Drona as well. Drona used all the divine weapons, Aindra, Pashupata, Twastra, Vayuvya, Yamya, all these weapons belonging to Indra, Shiva himself, Vishwakarma, Vayu, Yama, like this, all the Devatas weapons he uses, but Arjuna countered all of them with his own weapons of them. So, like this, Drona covers Arjuna with large number of divine celestial weapons and those astras coming. Arjuna baffles all of them. Then Drona, in his mind, he applauds. In his heart, he applauds Arjuna and the skill he was displaying in that battlefield. And Drona himself felt very proud. He considered himself uh, very much superior among everybody on this earth, considering that he is the guru of Arjuna. So this is again great moment there where a guru feels greatness not by his own learning but seeing his shishya doing better than him. So that's Drona feels so much happiness in his heart, but still continues to battle Arjuna. So then again, in the sky, all the Devatas, Gandharvas, Rishis, all of them watching this battle, they were all filled with, they again looking at this and they were looking at this battle with a lot of excitement and seeing how who is going to uh, win or who is going to take superiority over this in this battlefield. So at that time, again, there was Sanjay says that there was an invisible voice which was praising both Drona and Arjuna. It was heard repeatedly from the sky at that time when these were two were battling. So how they were counteracting each other, battling each other. An invisible voice was praising their efforts and how they are battling. When in consequence of again weapon shot by Drona and Arjuna, all the sides it became filled. It felt like everything was in burning. It became like that, and the rishis and all of them who were present there, they said that there is no human or asura or rakshasa or even devata or gandharva who could battle like this. These two alone, it could destroy the entire, all the worlds together they can destroy. If Rudra himself comes in two forms and fights himself, then there may be a match to this battle between Drona and Arjuna. So, like that, they were talking to each other, those rishis were. Then Drona, in that battle again, he invokes Brahma weapon and seeing Arjuna to defeat Arjuna, he invokes that Brahma weapon. Fierce winds begins to blow. Sea swelled with agitation, and Kaurava and Pandava armies, all of them became inspired with fear, seeing that Brahma weapon being inspired by Drona. Arjuna fearlessly baffles that Brahma weapon with his own Brahma weapon. Like this, the Brahmastra was neutralized by Arjuna. When, like this, all the celestial weapons, astras, were tried by Drona and nothing he could do against Arjuna, then they started fighting. Sanjay says that a kind of general engagement continued between them. So they gave up on fighting with these celestial weapons and then fighting with normal arrows and shastras. They started battling with those because they realized that the other party has got the counter for everything that one is trying to strike. So like this, they continued. So the battle continued between them. The general battle continued between them. During that, again, in that carnage, men, horses, elephants, all of them were destroyed in large numbers. Dushasana in that battle encountered Dhrishtadyumna in that battle at that time, mounted on his golden chariot. Dushasana goes after uh, Dhrishtadyumna and he showers him large number of arrows, and Dhrishtadyumna in return showers large number of arrows on Dushasana's horses. And covered with those arrows, the standard charioteer, everything became invisible. And those arrows as well, Dushasana became unable to stay on that and forcing Dushasana to turn back from that battlefield. So, like this, Dhৃষ্টদ্যুম্na defeating Dushasana in that battle, he again proceeds towards Drona in that battlefield. Seeing him going towards Drona like that, Kritavarman with his three brothers united together, he comes and attempts to stop Dhrishtadyumna in that battle. And seeing Kritavarman coming there, Nakula and Sahadeva come and then they started having battle with Kritavarman and with his three brothers. So Kritavarman with his three brothers, Dhrishtadyumna and Nakula Sahadeva, on this side they started having battle. So this 4-on-3 battle continued, and at that time again there was no, Sanjay says that they fought with fair battle in that time. So they had a very fair battle at that time. There was nothing unfair in that fight. No weapon was used that's regarded as unfair. There was no barbed arrows. There was no nalikas. There was no poisoned arrows. There was no arrows with heads, multiple those arrows with heads, those with thorns, or made with pointed heads, or many pointed heads, or those made with bones of the bulls or elephants, or those arrows that's made, weapons made with two heads and having rusty heads, or those weapons made with that are not going straight. So those all these type of weapons which are used in unfair battles were not used in that. They were simple, they were fair weapons, and they all of them desired to win in both fame and that heaven in that battlefield. After this battlefield, like this, they battled. Seeing Nakula Sahadeva resist Kritavarman with his brothers, Dhrishtadyumna thinks that he should not waste his time, so he leaves Nakula Sahadeva there and then he rushes towards Drona. He makes his advance towards Drona. So checked by those two Nakula Sahadeva like that, so he makes his way towards Drona, and seeing him going like that, Duryodhana rushed to that spot, scattering large number of arrows. Seeing Duryodhana go towards Dhrishtadyumna, Satyaki approaches him and he stops him. And seeing Satyaki in front of him, Duryodhana recollects all his childhood and he looks at Satyaki and smiles him. They both smile at each other repeatedly. Then Duryodhana, mentally blaming his own conduct, he addresses his ever dear friend Satyaki. He says that this is shame on this anger, shame on this vindictiveness, shame on this Kshatriya dharma, shame on this strength and prowess we have, might and prowess we, since we both aim at ourselves, each other with the weapons today. In those days, you were dearer to me than my life itself, and I was also like that to you. All those childhood acts that I remember of both yourself and myself became quite insignificant in this battlefield now. Moved by anger and cowardness, we are here today fighting against each other. Like this, Duryodhana addresses Satyaki and remembers their childhood together. So this is again important here. So Duryodhana and Satyaki, they learned together, they played together. By this, it is very clear. But also we know that Satyaki considers Arjuna as his guru. So Arjuna Duryodhana studied together. Effectively, Arjuna and Satyaki, that also means they were also studied and spent their childhood kind of together. But then Satyaki learned more from Arjuna, and that's why he considers Arjuna as his guru after that, because Arjuna became, it's like in the same class, somebody becomes very talented and they pass probably the additional subjects and things like that, and then that person becomes the teacher for the other students in the class, right? So it's became like that. So Satyaki, we can regularly hear that Arjuna is Satyaki's guru, right, in this weaponry. So, but they all of same age, so that's the important thing here, and they all played together, but from a learning point of view, Arjuna is still the guru. So Duryodhana, like this, he remembers his childhood and he blames his own conduct for the situation they are in now, where he has to shoot arrows towards, he's prepared to have battle with his best friend Satyaki. And Satyaki, when he listens to that words from Duryodhana, he smilingly replies saying that this is not an assembly, this is not a court where we can speak happily, nor it is the Guru's ashrama here. So where in the former olden days we played together, we sported together. It is not that place. Duryodhana answers him saying that where have all those games, sports of our childhood have gone? Oh, alas, how this battle has come upon us. Influence of the time, influence of this destiny is irresistible. Urged by the desire of wealth, what use of the wealth we have assembled together? Here we are in this battlefield because of greed of that wealth. We are here. Like this, Duryodhana kind of laments the situation he is in. And to that, King Duryodhana, Satyaki replies that this has always been the dharma of Kshatriyas, that they have to fight even against their gurus. If I am dear to you, then kill me without delay. Through you, I will enter the regions of that Swarga, I will enter that. So, without delay, show me your strength and prowess, show me that. I do not desire to witness the great calamity of friends, so I do not wish to see your death. So, you shoot me. Saying this, Satyaki immediately disregarding for his life, he starts advancing towards Duryodhana. Then they start pouring each other with large number of arrows. The battle takes place. Duryodhana angrily pierces Satyaki with many sharp arrows and with his bow drawn to the fullest stretch. Satyaki also quickly he pierces Duryodhana and once more he strikes him with 20 arrows and then 10. Like this he continuously pierces, and Duryodhana meanwhile smilingly he pierces Satyaki in return with 30 arrows. With shooting razor-headed arrows, he cuts off the the string of the bow, and Satyaki immediately fixes that and then takes up another tougher bow, and then he starts battling again Duryodhana in that battlefield. So Duryodhana afflicts Satyaki with 73 arrows in that battlefield, and then all those arrows of Duryodhana again of his bow with arrows fixed. Satyaki quickly cuts off them as quickly as he fixes them. Satyaki used to cut them off. Satyaki then pours a shower on Duryodhana, deeply pierced by Satyaki, feeling great pain. Duryodhana seeks shelter in his chariot. Having rested, refreshed, he once more advances towards Satyaki, shooting arrows of large number on Satyaki. Satyaki again uh, releases large number of arrows. The battle continues between them. Seeing Duryodhana in that situation, being troubled by Satyaki, Karna tries to go towards there to rescue Duryodhana from Satyaki. As Karna was going towards that direction, Bhima comes there and stops him again. And the battle resumes between Karna and Bhima once more. Karna cuts off Bhima's bow, arrows, and charioteer with his arrows, and then Bhima angrily takes the mace and crushes the bow standard charioteer of Karna. And Bhima also broke one of the wheels of Karna's chariot in that battle. Karna, however, standing on that chariot which had one of the wheels broken, he still continued to move and then move his horses like Surya moves in the skies with his chariot made having only one wheel. So this again similarities because in Surya's son Karna, so he also on earth now Karna moving just like Surya's. You probably know Surya's chariot has 7 horses and it runs on only one wheel. All right, so just like that here, Karna's horse has only one wheel. He continues to balance that chariot and move that chariot on that. So Bhima and Karna continue to battle in that, so each other striking in that battlefield. So when that battle was taking place like that, Yudhishthira urges all the Panchalas, Matsyas, and all the soldiers on the other side, saying that do not fear for this. So today we are going to kill Drona in this battlefield, driving away all your fears, keeping your Kshatriya duties, engage in this fight. If you prove to be victors, then you will perform great sacrifices, giving a lot of dhanas, the brahmanas. If on the other hand, if you are killed, then he will attain the region same as status, same as those devatas. So that's why do not hesitate and go and attack, join this battle. So when he urges like that, Kshatriyas, they quickly rushes towards Drona. The Panchalas then on the one side, they attacked Drona with large number of arrows. On the other hand, others headed by Bhima again began to resist on the other side. Pandavas in their side, Sanjaya says there are 3 crooked-minded warriors among the Pandavas. So they were Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva. So obviously the 2 left who were of good conduct were Yudhishthira and Arjuna. Right? So Sanjay says that there are 3 crooked-minded among Pandavas. They are Bhima, Nakula, and Sahadeva. And these 3, Bhima and Nakula, Sahadeva, they addresses Arjuna and tell him that, "O Arjuna, quickly rush and with speed drive away these Kurus from Drona's vicinity." So when Drona is deprived of his protectors, then Panchalas may be able to kill him easily. So like this, these 3, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, come up with the idea and they ask Arjuna to drive away all the Kuru supporters like Duryodhana, Karna, Shakuni, everybody, drive them away from Drona's range, and also the Kuru soldiers, everybody that was there accompanying Drona, drive away all of them. If Drona becomes alone, then it becomes easier to kill him by the Panchalas. So, like this, Bhima and Krishna address. So, Arjuna quickly rushes towards those Kauravas, while Drona rushes against the Panchalas, headed by Dhrishtadyumna. Uh, on that fifth day of Drona's command, there were again large number of soldiers were killed by Drona on that day. Drona causing a great carnage of those Panchalas, like slaughter caused by Indra of the Danavas in the olden days. The great army of the Pandavas, who had great strength and energy, though they were slaughtered by Drona in that battlefield, they were not afraid of Drona. They continued to attack the Panchalas, Srinjayas. They all rushed against Drona, united together again with loud and fierce yells. Was heard as Drona continued to slaughter. Seeing the slaughter of Panchalas in that battlefield by Drona, which overwhelmed on all the sides, fear entered in the hearts of Pandavas, and Pandavas became less hopeful of the victory, seeing Drona battling like that. They all began to think on the Pandavas, and the troops on the Pandava side started thinking that it is not evident it is not evident that the warriors who are conversant with all the weapons, then like Drona, is destroying everybody here in this battlefield. It is happening, and there is nobody and among ourselves who is competent to face Drona except Arjuna, who alone can match him. But he is very much conversant with the morality, dharma, and he's not going to fight with Drona like he's not going to kill Drona, or he's not going to hurt Drona in this battlefield. All he's going to do is resist Drona. If Drona releases a weapon, he's going to cut that off. That's all he's going to do. He's not going to hurt Drona, because he considers him as a guru, and hurting guru is not something Arjuna is going to do. So, like this, the Pandava troops, everybody were thinking, who is going to save us from Drona in this battlefield? When they were worried like that, Krishna, who is devoted to the welfare of the Pandavas, he addresses Arjuna, and he says that this Drona is being incapable of being defeated in this battle by the Devatas, Indra, including Indra himself, incapable of being defeated. When, however, he keeps his weapons aside, when he drops his weapons, then he can be killed. So that's why, leaving your dharma to the one side, adopt now such a plan that you can gain the victory. Drona may be killed, so how you can kill? Think about a plan, even if it means it is adharma. So once his son is dead, Ashwatthama is dead, then definitely Drona will stop fighting. So let somebody go and tell Drona that Ashwatthama has been killed in this battle. So like this, Krishna tells. So this advice was approved by Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, but Arjuna did not approve this. But Yudhishthira reluctantly, with great difficulty, he accepted that proposal from Krishna. Then Bhima, with his mace, he kills an elephant named Ashwatthama, belonging to his own army, belonging to Indravarman of Malavas. So Malava troop leader Indravarman had an elephant called Ashwatthama. And Bhima immediately with his mace kills that, and then approaches Drona and that battlefield, and he says that Ashwatthama. So he says that Ashwatthama has been killed. When that elephant named Ashwatthama has been killed by Bhima, Bhima spoke as if it's Ashwatthama, Drona's son, has been killed. Keeping the true fact within his mind, he said what was untrue. Hearing those very disagreeable words of Bhima, reflecting upon them, Drona's body started to dissolve. He started to shake like a sand in the water. But recollecting the prowess of his son Ashwatthama, he soon regained his uh, strength, and he regarded this intelligence, that is the Bhima's words, are not true. So Drona did not become unmanned. He did not drop his bow or anything like that. And soon recovering his senses, he became comforted and remembering that his son was incapable of being resisted by the enemies. So rushing towards Dhrishtadyumna, desiring to kill Dhrishtadyumna, Drona once again covers Dhrishtadyumna with large number of arrows. So he continues to battle after hearing from Bhima like that. Then 20,000 Panchala warriors, all of them of great energy, they started attacking Drona, and Drona, filled with anger and desiring of compassing the destruction of those Panchala warriors, Drona invokes Brahmastra. So again, if you remember, at the end of 14th day or beginning of 15th day morning, when the sunrise was happening, Duryodhana says that you have all the weapons, divine weapons, celestial weapons, release them against these Pandava troops, Panchalas, destroy them completely. But Drona says, if I release those weapons against those who do not know how to resist them or worthy of those weapons, then sin will attach to me. It will be in against the dharma, releasing such a weapons against those people. So he says that, but today I will destroy Panchalas, right? So even though it is, that's what he promised at the beginning of the day. Now, on hearing from Bhima, that his son Ashwatthama has been killed, even though he now kind of regains his senses that Ashwatthama cannot be killed, he's still in back of his mind thinking about Ashwatthama, and now seeing all those Panchala warriors, 20,000 of them approaching him, he releases the Brahmastra against them. And at that time, Drona looked like a smokeless fire. He was burning, and he was uh, with radiance. He was battling in that, slaughtering all those Somakas and Panchalas in that battlefield. So they were cut off in large numbers, destroyed all those through that Brahma weapon, Brahmastra. So in consequence of that, fallen elephants, horses, and all of that fell on the earth, the flesh, blood, everything. It became very difficult to move in that battlefield. So many died immediately. And having killed 20,000 Panchala warriors in that battlefield, Drona continued, and once more filled with angrily, he cuts off with broad-headed arrow. He cuts off Vasudhana's head. He cuts off the Panchala warrior, and then once more he kills 500 Matsya warriors, and then he kills 6,000 elephants, and then he kills 10,000 horses belonging to those troops. So like this, he creates a huge destruction of Panchala and Matsya warriors who were attacking their Droda in large number, headed by Dhrishtadyumna. Seeing this, Drona releasing this Brahmastra against those warriors who do not have any knowledge of these divine weapons and things like that. The rishis, Vishwamitra, Jamadagni, Bharadwaja, Gautama, Vasishta, Kashyapa, Atri, Shikata, Prishni, Gargya, Valakilya, Marichi, and the descendants of Bhrigu, Angirasa, and various many other rishis, sages, they all of them came there. With Agni, they came there. And they started addressing Drona. So we will look at what they say to Drona and how Drona reacts to those rishis' words next time when we gather.